I'm Matt Bouchard with REIT.com here in Boca Raton, Florida for REITWise 2014, NAREIT's Law, Accounting, and Finance Conference. I'm joined by Kate Mason, Senior Vice President of Taxation with Post Properties. Kate, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Here at REITWise, you were on a panel that looked at the top issues keeping REIT tax directors up at night. So what's at the top of your list?
Well, I know that there's some things I cannot do. I can't affect the economy directly, and I can't affect tax legislation. So I'm going to focus on the things I can control. And the things that I took away from this conference, among other things, are that communication and documentation are really important. And those are the kind of things that do keep me up at night, because I think about how I, as a tax director and my tax group, communicate with the executive suite and accounting and other departments in my organization, as well as how I educate the people at the properties to understand what is really important from a tax perspective. On the other side of the coin is the documentation. And having gone through a lot of due diligence over the years and audits, I know that I'm very concerned on how an underwriter's tax advisor views the information that I provide them, and also how on audit an IRS agent or a sales and use tax agent from the state or property tax auditor view what we've provided them. So documentation to me and getting it right is really important.
Now, do you think there are any under the radar issues that maybe people are overlooking that could kind of bubble to the surface and become more important?
Well, I don't know if we're overlooking them, but another takeaway from this conference is that technology is really becoming so pivotal in our organizations, not only for what we do as tax people, but also what's going on at our properties, how technology is changing and getting back to like services which are really sort of pivotal for me. You know, early on we used to be concerned with is having a fax machine at a property and allowing people using it to use it, is that something, you know, that we should be concerned with as something that's customary or not? And now, you know, that's morphed into everybody has Wi-Fi in their common areas. And most recently, I was listening to a national radio program just last week, and they were talking about how some retailers in their malls are actually employing companies to put in kiosks for your smartphone connection. So it's like a free service, you know, to people who shop there. But when you think about it, who would ever think of that? You know, people need to be connected all the time. And so technology is just ramping up. I don't know how that will affect our organizations and our delivery of services or the type of services, you know, that we can provide. So it's sort of an interesting, you know, future for us.
Now, lastly, I wanted to get your thoughts on when a tenant service becomes customary for tax purposes.
That's a tough question because, you know, sometimes you really know when something is a good service or customary. Sometimes it's kind of a gray area, and sometimes it's like, well, there's no way that this could be a good service because, you know, you'd have to be a real early adopter, you know, and this would be something that's sort of unique. But what I would say is if you look back at the history, and this is kind of what we do when we evaluate early on, you know, things were like nobody could provide anything except through an independent contractor. This goes way before my time as well. But, you know, it has changed into you could look at things as customary versus non-customary. Then you've been given the ability to have a 1% basket where you can throw non-customary services in at a property. And then finally, you've had the ability in like '99 with the REIT Modernization Act to have something as a TRS, which allows you to do other things that you may have never thought about before. And now you have the ability to put that into a TRS and provide that service. So when we evaluate a service, let's say on an existing property that wants to put a new service in, or on an acquisition or a new development, you know, we do our due diligence and we say, well, let's talk to the property manager. What's going on in that geographic area? She will know that, or he will know that. The developer, they do market research, and when they do a new development, they will find that out. And so we get feedback from them. We look at private letter rulings, and we know that we can't use them for our own, but it sort of gives us an indication on what's going on. And of course, we talk to our tax advisors, and they, you know, and also other tax directors, because we get input from them and we sort of exchange ideas on what's going on. Ultimately, it comes down to cost of a service and then the competitive advantage or just meeting the competition. So we kind of evaluate all those things and we say, based on that, it could be customary, or if it's not, we put it in our bad income basket, or if it's not, we go very conservative and we will put it in a TRS.
Kate, thank you so much for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
For more from REITWise 2014, be sure to visit REIT.com.